Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page here at Facebook, where I do a daily live stream around the daily card draw that I do, the divination cards. And so welcome. Today is Tuesday, November 27th, and it's in the afternoon here in Toma, Wisconsin, 2 p.m. Central Time, actually. Yeah, welcome. My goodness, Tuesdays, here at Star Nations have always been one of the busiest days of the week from the time we started Star Nations. And this morning was no different. Really kind of crazy, kind of busy. Our puppy, George, many of you have met him. He's about 4 months and a couple weeks old, and he's being neutered today. And we had to take him in and leave him there. Yeah, I think we were taking it much harder than he was. That's for sure. And the house is very quiet without him being there. So anyway, and then we had my mom, who's 99. Her palliative nurse was in to visit with her today. And our house cleaner was in today, this morning, and Grand Central Station at my house. It's a good thing that we don't have broadcasts from here on Tuesday mornings because it's really, really busy. So it's kind of fun and nice to be up here at Star Nations Academy, where I broadcast all of my shows from. And because it's nice and quiet up here, it's actually very peaceful up here. And so, it's kind of nice. Kind of nice. Hi, everybody. Welcome. And for those that are joining live, please note that we are using our partners at BeLive TV app. And when I do that, it's not a native live stream to Facebook. And so unless you make a comment in the live chat, I don't really know you're there until I look at my phone. And so if you could please just say hi, just so I know who's out there with me. And speaking of my phone, before we get too far along into the live stream, what I'd like to do is I'm using my phone and I'm liking the broadcast, the live stream. And I'm also going to share the live stream. And if you wouldn't mind doing the same thing, I really would appreciate it. And I'll tell you why, is because it helps us to be in the newsfeed much more often. And so those people who may be searching for this kind of information or this kind of live stream, we're so much easier to find, right? Okay, so I just liked it, and I am going to share it to my newsfeed so that my friends know that I'm live streaming. And asking them to join me. And it doesn't take me long. I love those quick keys. There we go. And then we're going to post that. And then I'm going to share it over to the Academy, which is a closed group, Star Nations Academy. And there we go. I'm live streaming. Oops. I'm right now. And please join me. Here we go. And we'll get it over to the Academy, Star Nations Academy. There. Excellent. Now, I would normally send it over to the radio network closed group as well, but I shared the BeLive TV notification there this morning, so don't want to send them too many things all at one time. And so we'll get started here. See who's in the chat. Hey, Julie's here, Julie Hill. So good to see you in the chat this afternoon, Julie. Thank you for being here. And Roberta, hey, hello to you on this flurry day. I know we've had snow flurries here all day. It started very early this morning. I was up at 6 and it was already flurrying then here. And so Roberta, send me a message. Are we doing our mid-morning tea or coffee tomorrow? You can PM me if you'd like. if we're still on for that, okay? And so thank you for being here too, Roberta. And Connie's here. Hey, Connie, so good to see you in the chat. And she says, done, meaning that she shared. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Connie. Connie is one of our live stream show hosts here at Star Nation's organization and at the radio network. And her show is coming up on Thursday morning at 10:30 a.m. called Spiritual Mysteries of Life. And I get to produce her show, so I get front row seat. I love Connie's show. Why? Because there's always these nuggets or morsels of insight. And when she's talking to her spiritual team, doing that channeling kind of conversation, it's really, really good. Really good. So if you're interested in that sort of conversation with spirit with us, you can join us on Thursday morning, 10:30 Eastern time. Yeah, Eastern time. And hey, Lynn's here. Hi, Lynn. I'm so glad you could join us. I hope the information yesterday about tribal ancestral lands in Minnesota was helpful to you. And hey, Rochelle is here too. Always good to see you in the chat, Rochelle. Embodying saying R. I don't know what that means, Bonnie. Well, I know what R means, but I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Oh, she says we are. PM'd you. Looking forward to the checking out the new place. Okay, great. Good. That's something to look forward to. And thank you, Lynn, for sharing the broadcast. I appreciate that. So there's one other thing I want to share with you before I get started. Got to move a few things here. And I got to charge my phone. I'm like running on vapors. And I'm going to do that right now because if I forget, oh my gosh. Do you remember before our life was like before cell phones? Do you remember that at all? Yeah. Or how big the cell phones were when they first came out in, was it the early 90s, late 80s, something like that? Yeah. I want to show you something I got in the mail today. I'm going to take my name off here. There we go. Carl Franklin wrote a book, and he sent me a copy, and I received it yesterday. And it's called Earth's Ascension, Nibiru and the Spirit Realm by Carl Franklin. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? Yeah. So I know what I'm going to be reading. I can't wait. To dive into it. Yeah. So it's about, and if you've ever caught their show, their live stream show, or when we were doing Blog Talk Radio, their Blog Talk shows there, Carl has always talked to us about the spiritual realms, and has always talked to us about planetary harmony and about souls crossing over or not crossing over, right? And so I can't wait to read this book. Yeah. I'm wondering, a thought just crossed my mind. I'm gonna read it first and see how well it would translate, and to have Carl come on. Oh, I don't know, maybe at the closed academy. So it's a very special kind of time with Carl, and have him maybe talk to us about one of the chapters, almost like a book club, but not quite. I think that would really be not just fun, but I think we could really learn a lot from Carl that way. Yeah. Oh, so Connie, you read it, huh? It's a great read. All right. I can't wait to get started on it. Yeah. I can't do it today. Tuesdays are really busy. I'll be lucky if I'm actually done with work by 11:30 tonight. So not today. Maybe I can get it started tomorrow. I can do that. Yeah. All right. So the card draw today, I actually couldn't get to drawing the actual card until, must have been about 11:30, something like that, because I was in the chat with Polly Joe's show at noon Eastern time today. I was there, and then I was also taking some client calls this morning too. Yikes. I shouldn't have done that. Polly Joe's show is all about stress and managing stress, because we all have it. We're all going to have it. It doesn't ever really go away, but we can handle it better, and we can learn how to say yes when we want to say yes, and no when we really need to say no. Okay. And so it was a great topic for me today. It really was, because I think, oh my gosh, I should have said no to that, and I should have said no to that. And yet there I was. So it was really appropriate timing for me. I don't know about you guys, if you were in the chat with her or listening to her show, but it was really very helpful. And so I didn't get to the card draw until about 11:30. And I was just getting ready to get started, had called my team in, and was setting the intention. And Paul comes in, my husband comes in, and he goes, "Hey, can I help again?" And so I said, Sure. I said, "Make sure you call your team in." And we both shuffled the cards a bit and spread them out, and he selected the cards. Yeah. So he was he's part of it too. Roberta's saying she is full of amazing energy. Isn't she though? She really is. Yeah, cortisol from stress. Exactly. And when we don't listen to our bodies, and to be able to take those breaks when we need it, it's kind of like a chain reaction, and and so I listened the other day. I think it was Friday, could have been Saturday. Anyway, I had to listen to my body. I could barely stay awake whenever I sat down. And so I looked at Paul, and I said, "You know what? I'm going to serve Mom her supper, and I'm going to go to bed." And I said, "I'll set my alarm for 7:30 to be up in time for take care of her evening snack." And so that's what I did. Alarm went off at 7:30. I never heard it. Paul took care of Mom's snack for me and turned down her bed. And I was awake. I don't know. I jumped out of bed at like 8:20, and I thought, oh my God, I missed the 7:30 snack. And I go tearing down the stairs. And Paul and George, I startled George. I was like, "What's going on?" I said, "I missed the 7:30 snack." "No, it's all taken care of. It's handled. Don't worry about it." It's like, oh, great. So then I went in and talked to Mom for a bit and helped her into bed. Came back and did a couple posts for the magazine and that sort of thing, radio shows or live stream shows. And I went back to bed. I think I slept, 14 hours. When I got up the next day, I felt great. So, we either listen to our bodies, and if I didn't, I don't know what I would have been like on Saturday. So I'm just saying, Lynn, I agree with you. Cortisol from stress, yes. And we need to listen to our body. All right. Hey, Stephanie's here. She says, "Happy dance, dental surgery on Friday morning. The silly pain will be out of my mouth finally." Oh my gosh. Okay, so what kind of surgery? Is it a root canal, or what's going on? Yeah. So we can send you some prayers, right? Some good, as a friend of mine would say, send you some good juju, right? Yeah. All right. So today's first card. The first card is this one, the Earth Guardian. And we've had this guy before. This angel, I should say, this angel before, the Earth Guardian. And we've talked about the staff that he's holding. It's a dream catcher. And it's about the Earth Guardian can help us ground our dreams, our heart's desires, our manifestations to the earth plane, right? And it says, stay rooted and grounded. Stay rooted and grounded. Yeah. The colors green, and the green shades in here aren't they so pretty? Some people like the really, really dark kind of forest green or the emerald green, and others like the lighter colors like the mint or the sea foam. Yeah, I like it. All those shades of green. Stephanie is saying, pulling a tooth and having a repair done to the one next to the one being pulled. Oh, okay. So you're going to be in the chair for a little bit. All right. Well, we certainly can send you some good energy for that. Yeah. Yeah, we can certainly do that for you, Stephanie. Hold you in our hearts. So the Earth Guardian. It seems it's being rooted and grounded, right, to the earth, to the grandmother earth. The message is take time to connect deeply with the energy of the earth so that you can feel supported and make decisions based on strength and integrity. And we've talked about this before, right? About having a method, a technique, a way to ground to grandmother earth. When we're grounded to her, we're calmer. Yeah. And we're also, we're able to hold our center, which makes us stronger and calmer. And we're easy to be around because our energy isn't ricocheting all over the place. We're not frenetic energy. We're calm and steady, Um, and most times we talk about trees when we're talking about being grounded and rooted. And be like a tree, right? And sink our roots deep into grandmother earth. Um, and so I know that looking at the names in the chat that we have covered, how to ground before, because there were a few people who didn't have a technique that they could use on a regular basis. And so the question is, for those that are in the live chat, have you been using your grounding? And it's okay, sometimes we forget, or sometimes we're feeling so good we don't even think about it. In those times when you have, can you tell the difference in yourself when you are grounded and when you're not? For me, and if you wouldn't mind putting your answer in the comments, that would be great, because we learn from each other, right? We learn from each other. For me, when I haven't done my grounding, when I haven't consciously focused my attention on, am I grounded? Yes, I am grounded. That kind of thing. And when I'm feeling ungrounded, I check in with myself, and I do kind of do a scan of my chakras. Where do I begin to feel unbalanced and weaker? And so I start at my crown and I work my way down to through the seven chakra system, right? And until I get to the one area that feels either stuck, or I can feel like it's not stable enough, right? And so what I usually do is I just go up one chakra, the one above it, and then start imagining being grounded to grandmother earth, sending those roots down, and feeling that energy go from one chakra to the next as it works its way down into the earth. That because I've been doing grounding and balancing and all those kinds of things, for decades. And so I know that my connection to grandmother earth is a very strong one. I have 100% faith in that. And so it's easy to be able to kind of check in and see. Yeah. 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 Lynn saying, yes, so much practice and crave it. Yes, we do. Yes. Because why? Because it feels good. It feels so much better than being spun really tight, or your energy is just kind of flying around, flitting from thing to thing, right? Like a butterfly. And she says, I love your suggestions. Well, thank you, Lynn. And the thing is that how I even started checking in, because I was turning my attention to my body and what it feels like, and what the energy centers, the chakras, what they feel like. And it does a couple of different things. Not only does it help you to ground, but it helps you to identify which chakra feels good and which one doesn't, and for yourself, because you're going to feel it differently than I feel it in my body, right? So you learn about yourself. You learn about yourself. But it also does something else. It brings us to the present moment. Our thoughts aren't in the past. Our thoughts aren't projected into the future, even by a little bit. They're right here when you do that inward check, right? And so that's another piece that helps you to be more present. And when we're more present, we're calmer, right? We're not projecting our energy, our being, our spirit more to the future than it is right here, right now. Yeah, good. Julie is saying, yeah. Oh, Julie's saying, yes, I did some grounding over the weekend when I had to go out in the crowds of people and ask for protection. It worked for me quite well. I returned home without getting frazzled. Yay! That is great, Julie. Yay! I tell you what, there's nothing like that feeling, because it does so much for us, doesn't it? You don't feel frazzled, but you also have a sense of accomplishment and your self-esteem or your self-confidence, better word, self-confidence gets a boost because you used your tools. You didn't have to rely on anybody or anything else. You had everything that you needed was there, right there at your fingertips, literally. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Julie. And especially as an empath, it's important for us to ground every day, twice a day, depending on what method that you have. And doing the protection thing as well, right? It's good because we get to relax about it. And when we're relaxed, we also can have more access to our gifts, right? And to be able to apply them better. So that's good. Yay. I'm happy for you, Julie. Sometimes I tell people I'm doing I did a happy dance, right? And it's literal. I'll be in my kitchen or something like that, and something really good is going on, and somebody, and it's like, yay, and I'm literally doing a dance in the kitchen, because it's happiness. It's happiness, and why not express it, right? And that's with or without music. You can tell I'm a child of the 70s. All right. So about the Earth Guardian, it says the Earth Guardian, they are the protectors of the land and the planet, and can help you connect with your mission here and how you can support the evolution of the planet. And we've had this information before, right? And whenever I read that particular sentence, I have a sense of security. That there's an angel, there's a being who, and there's more than one. It's more like a whole band of them, a whole frequency of them. There's not just a handful, there's thousands of Earth Guardians, angels. And they have the certain frequency that they work with. And so I find it very comforting to know that I can call on that frequency. I can call on the Earth Guardian to help me to understand or see, to sense how the application of my gifts is helping Grandmother Earth, right? And if I need to tweak it at all, what do I need to do better or differently in order to do that? Because Grandmother Earth, she's the one who's leading the pack here, in the evolution, in the ascension. And so if I am out of step a bit, I want to know, how do I do that differently? How do I do that better? And so I can check in with that guardian, that Earth Guardian. And I just think it's just like way cool that because we are doing our own personal work, our own personal healing, and fulfilling our soul contracts, is that we're actually helping the evolution of the planet. So what we do is no small thing. All right. Stephanie's got something to say. She says, I have to ground to my body. When I'm ungrounded, my body feels off and deteriorates quickly. As strange as it is, and many say inadvisable, I can do a full body check in after consuming a very small and measured amount of cannabis. I crave being in balance, but physically my body is not strong enough to take all the tension off. My physical therapist and doc agree with the dosage and the assessment of the physical tension. Well, I think that anything that we can do to be able to be grounded to Grandmother Earth and grounding from a place of love and not fear does our bodies, all of our bodies, a lot of good, right? And I know that there's some people who have a real strong judgment about the use of cannabis, of pot, but here is what I feel is that Grandmother Earth has all of her children, and cannabis is one of her children. When we use it in a balanced way, with a good heart, in a good way, then we're actually tapping into the higher frequency of that relative, that plant relative. And we all know that when we use something out of balance than its intended use, that's when it becomes toxic. That's when it becomes bad medicine, literally. And even those things that are poisonous, like red caps and I'm trying to think of poison ivy and poison oak and those kinds of things. The ancient ones knew how to use the medicine of those plants, even in its microscopic amounts, right? And we don't have that memory. Well, let's see. We have the memory. We just it hasn't been recalled. Let's put it that way. And we rely a lot on chemical, the pharmaceuticals, right? So it's a whole discussion in itself. And I do realize that, and I think it's somewhat of a generational thing too, is like, my mom would definitely, she looks down on alcohol and pot and any of that. She doesn't even like using Tylenol, for goodness sake. So I think sometimes it's a generational thing too. But like I said, when we use something in a good way, we're tapping into the higher frequency of it. And it's used in a balanced way. It's good medicine. We're doing it with a good heart. Yeah. And Stephanie, she says, poison ivy and scorpion poison are both amazing for nerve damage when used in micro doses. Yeah, absolutely. Or even, let's even take it down a notch, okay? Nettles. How many people have been weeding their garden without gloves on and they grab a bunch of nettles? Or you're taking a hike and you're walking through and you get out, if there is a path. We do a lot of hiking around here without a path. And you're going through a field and you walk through nettles. Don't you know that you've done that? There's no mistaking when you've grabbed nettles or when nettles has brushed your legs. But nettles is a very versatile plant. We can brew it in tea. We can actually cook it. Nettles can be used for a lot of different things, and including some minor nerve damage, like an arthritis. Or I'm trying to think of, like some diabetics, they have some nerve damage going on because of their diabetes. A lot of times what they'll use, herbalists will use the nettles to actually apply it to the surface of the skin, and it does hurt at first, but it does take away the underlying pain for a little while anyway. Yeah. Yep. Stephanie's saying, yep, stinging nettles are in my pantry. Awesome medicine. Yeah. Yeah. There's an indigenous lady. Can't recall her name. I want to say Linda Black, but I'm not sure if that's correct. And she is a botanist, formal education, but she is also studies the indigenous plants and all kinds of plants. But she says that if she had to choose one plant in her go-to, it would be stinging nettles. Yeah. Hey, Bob. Bob says, I use the CBD oils to help reduce my neuropathy pain in place of pharmaceutical drugs. Yeah, I know a lot of people do. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie puts in a website on stinging nettle information. Good one. Thank you. And Lynn is saying, I was on opiates for 10 years because of fibromyalgia and arthritis, now totally off because of cannabis. See? Yeah. Like I said, I think it depends on your intention. And that if you're doing it with a good heart and in a balanced way, you're tapping into the higher frequency of that relative, that plant relative, right? And here's something that my mom taught me from the time I was little is when we use the plants, any plant for any kind of medicinal reason, right, is that she would have us hold the plant and ask for its help. I would say we're connecting to it, right? We're connecting to the spirit of that plant, and we're asking for them to help us. So it's more of a co-creation. It's more of working together than one being used by another. Does that make any sense? And so you're actually working together, which also pushes the frequency up into cooperation, and if you want, into the realm of love. Mm-hmm. And she does that with aspirin. She does that with the essential oils. She does that even with the pharmaceuticals. Why? Is because she says that that even though they're chemicals, somebody had to create it. Something had to create it. And so you're connecting to the good thoughts of that person, right? Yeah. That's just a little something. And yes. Okay, let's see. Oops. Lynn says, use CBD too for myself and my dog. Love to learn about nettles. Great. Roberta says, Linda Conroy is a fabulous resource for plant medicine. That's correct. Thank you, Roberta. And if you could get her, I know that they're doing a conference here I believe in Wisconsin, in the spring. Yeah, Linda Conroy. Tina, hey Tina, I'm so glad to see you in the chat. She says, I have ringing in the ears. Either it's medical that I will never go away, but then they say it's a frequency to spirit. Yeah, that could be some of it. Because sometimes I do get that, especially in my right ear. It doesn't last very long though. And it's that, because I'm clairaudient, and sometimes it's a higher frequency, and I just ask them to help me bring up my frequency so I can hear them better, or to bring theirs down, maybe meet somewhere in the middle so that we have better communication. But also, I just finished reading this book. It's called Dirty Genes. And Ringing Ears was actually in there about how the genes, our genes talk to each other. They communicate to each other. And when the communication is interfered with or garbled, the communication doesn't get through. And so we could end up with some things like fibromyalgia. We could end up with things like myasthenia gravis. We could end up with ringing in our ears. And so it could have something to do with that as well, you know. Okay. Lynn says, I'm detoxing with dandelion root right now. I love dandelion. We use that a lot, actually. We use the greens from spring until late fall for our smoothies in the morning. And Paul goes out and he harvests, just a handful at a time. And it helps that we live on property that hasn't used chemicals in about 15 years. Lynn says that's quantum physics with love. It is, isn't it? Absolutely is. She says, I have some too, and then it goes, the ringing in the ears, yes. Hey, Mary Anderson Fry's here. Moonwise is the name of Linda Conroy's business, I believe. Okay, good. So oh my goodness, Stephanie's on it. She's got moonwiseherbs.com, midwestwomensherbal.com. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Violet. Hi. She's saying hi to everyone. Good to have you with us. All right. So here is the card for those who just arrived. We got the first card. It's the Earth Guardian, and it's about being rooted and grounded, right? And we were talking about being grounded to Grandmother Earth and what that feels like when we are, because we're more centered, we're calmer, we're fun to be around. We're much more fun than those that are not grounded. I call that ricochet rabbit. When you're around somebody, that energy is just all over the place. They kind of tire you out, don't they? And then I was asking the people in the audience, the live audience here, that if they can tell the difference between when they're grounded and ungrounded, right? And then we started talking about Grandmother Earth and all the good things that she does for us. All right, and then there was this one piece in here about the message. It says, it's important for you to take a grounded approach to your current situation. If you're rushing ahead or making a decision based on your more fearful responses, you will miss out on the growth you deserve. So take some time and calm down and get grounded before proceeding further. And so if you don't have a technique or a method to ground, my suggestion is that you do find one. And depending on the time, maybe we can even do a short one today, okay? It says it's important to plant seeds that are going to grow into something beautiful rather than turn into a weed that you have to deal with later. And that's really about how when we are grounded, when we are centered, that we have better decision making. And I know it's hard to do because, personal experience. When you're in a bad place, when you're in a place of pain, whether it's physical or emotional or even mental pain, when you're in the middle of that, sometimes it's hard to remember to use your tools, right? And being grounded is a tool. And that's why sometimes it's good to have friends that you can talk to and share with how you're feeling. Because as a friend, I'd be asking you, did you ground today? If not, let's do it right now, right? Yeah, friends. But, when you're grounded, you tend to be able to remember to use your gifts and your tools and both your formal and informal education. You're just better at handling life when you're grounded and centered. And even if that was the only thing that we talked about today, wouldn't that be worth it? Is to say, yep, that's true. When I'm grounded, my life goes a lot smoother. Lynn says, You're so right. Love your talks, wisdom, insight. So glad I found you. Aw, thank you, Lynn. Lynn just found us. I think it was yesterday, wasn't it, Lynn? I think we had that talk. Yeah. Rochelle says, I certainly can feel the difference between grounding and flightiness. Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. That just sent a memory through my head. I'll share it with you in just a second. Rochelle says, I feel so ungrounded having my surgery this Thursday at 11:45. Oh, okay. Well, we certainly can say a prayer for you, Rochelle. And we'll do a little grounding this afternoon before we leave today, okay? We'll do that just so that you can kind of be in a good place this evening. Because the grounding will last approximately 12 hours, depending on what you've ingested. Yeah. When you're not eating an organic diet, and we have a lot of chemical kind of stuff. Yeah. Or if you're using alcohol or cannabis or any of that out of balance, that can really mess with your grounding and protection. Yeah. All right. So the memory that just went through my head a few years ago, I was working in Madison, and I was driving from downtown and was going to pick Paul up from his work at I think it was called Stark. Isn't that, Bob? If you're still in the chat, make sure check my vocabulary on that one. It was the main office for the National Guard and for the state, and in fact, it was the day that was my last day at work, literally. I was leaving my job and I had cleaned out my office, and some of my coworkers wanted me to stop by and have a cup of coffee or something with them before I left town. So I did that. It was right next to our office building practically, and I hadn't done caffeine in quite a long time. I was caffeine free for probably about 5 years. And so I walked in and I was looking at the board and I'm thinking, okay, I'll just order something. And so I did. And it didn't have much caffeine in it, they said. Oh my God. I walked into Paul's office and I was just bouncing all over the place, and Paul's looking at me, goes, what is wrong with you? And I said, nothing's wrong with me. And I'm just talking a mile a minute. And even one of the guys in the office came by and said, you're different. And it's like, no, I'm not. And it was like, then I realized I had a cup of coffee. That's what it feels like for me when I'm ungrounded. Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just saying that, it's when we use it out of balance, Rochelle, is what I'm trying to get at. Not when we use it in moderation and or using it from in a good way from our hearts, right? For a medicinal is what I'm saying, is what I was just saying. Yeah. Bob, what do you mean? Just like the old days in Marshfield. All right. So maybe once in a while, right? Roberta said, LOL, been there. Caffeine to clean the New Jersey Turnpike. Yeah, yep, that's true. All right. I want to make sure we get to the second card, and then we're going to do a grounding thing because it's almost 2:45 or 3:45 here. All right. So here's the second card. Star Ancestor. Star Ancestor. Follow the voice of your soul. Follow the voice of your soul. So when we're grounded, when we're centered, the information that comes in our soul is that we can hear, and we're following our soul, is in the lead. Our understanding and our soul growth, right? That's what it's all about. And so when we can hear the voice of our soul, it's because we're grounded and we're centered. And it also helps when we're doing our own personal healing work, healing those traumas, when we're clearing away the debris, those interferences and blocks. And so we have more access to our gifts. We have more access to the information from spirit that's coming in. Yeah. Rochelle says, I love this card. Love his eyes. I know, right? Yep. And the pyramids. Listening to the voice of your soul. And so we're going to take a look at what the author of the cards, Kyle Gray, has to say about Star Ancestor. And whenever we get these cards about the star stuff, I always have to smile. Yeah. Star Nations, go figure, right? All right. So it says, heed the messages coming directly from your soul. It says Native American, this is a Native American term for extraterrestrial light beings who are dedicated to the healing and growth of the world. These incredible beings are divine embodiments of love who bring wisdom from the higher realms. Often people feel a sense of connectedness when they look up into a night sky and see the stars. The star ancestor is reminding you that you have otherworldly support and that your friends from the stars can help you if you're willing to be helped. They can support you in connecting with and following your soul's deepest calling. Your soul's deepest calling. And we can connect to that soul's deepest calling much better when we're grounded, when we're centered, when we're calm. There is a deeper purpose to your human journey. Not only were you born on purpose, you were born for a purpose. You were born to be a bright light in the world, and there are supporters out there in the universe sending waves of energy to guide you at this time. Information and inspiration that has been coming your way recently is not new information, but memories. Your feelings of being drawn in a particular direction are the awakening of an aspect of your soul. You're being drawn towards a road that will not only light you up, but also help you light up your corner of the world. It says, continue following the cosmic guidance that is coming your way. I like that. I like that a lot. And when we put these two cards together, it's about Spirit helping us to be at our very best. And we're more apt to be at our very best at that higher frequency of our vibration when we're grounded to Grandmother Earth, when we're centered to her. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. All right. So that's my take on the cards today. I like the fact that we're never alone. We have our spiritual teams that we can turn to, ask for guidance and help to understand, to help us bring things to the physical plane through that manifestation. And so we're never alone. And we also have other beings such as the Earth Guardian and the Star Ancestor who are also there to help us, right? We just have to get clear on what we want, what our intention is. Yeah. All right. So I want to make sure that we have enough time here. Because we're going to do a little grounding. All right. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is put your feet flat on the floor if you're sitting in a chair, and your spine as straight as possible. Now, this isn't going to take very long. Okay. So you might have to sit more toward the edge of your chair to have your back straight. If you need to, you can put a few pillows behind your back. You can do this lying on the floor if you want, as long as you can still hear my voice. You can even do it standing, whichever is comfortable to you. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a couple deep breaths, okay? And when you do this, you're going to really fill up your lungs so that your abdomen, your stomach kind of pulls out a little bit because you're really filling your lungs up. You're not breathing from up here, you're breathing lower. And then you're going to hold it just for a second. And on the exhale, you're going to really blow it out. Okay? All right. So here we go. Take a really big, deep breath in and really filling up your lungs. And when you get to the top of that breath, just hold it just for a second. And then exhale. And on the exhale, you're really blowing it out. There you go. And now just breathing easy and naturally. Bringing your awareness to your body, to this present moment. Bringing all of you back to this present moment. Okay. We're going to take a big, deep breath in again, really filling up your lungs. Holding it at the top of the breath, and on the exhale, blowing it out. There you go. Good. And now, just to make sure that we're completely present, okay, what I'd like you to do, whether you say it silently to yourself or out loud, either way is fine. What I'd like you to do is call to yourself your full name, and you call to yourself 4 times, okay? So it's like Yvette Neshi Lokotz, Beneshikwe, Beneshikwe, Beneshikwe. So you say it 4 times, all right? Calling to yourself to come back, to come home. Good. Good. Okay. And now just a nice, easy, deep breath in. And on the exhale, turning your attention and your thoughts to your spiritual team, your full team, calling them to you to please come, to be with you, gathering them around you. Good. And setting the intention to be grounded. Okay. So in your imagination, imagine being surrounded by a white light. This white light is all the way around you, 360 degrees. Imagine what it'd feel like to be bathed in this white light. It's the light of the Creator's protection. Sensing it, feeling it, even seeing it. Good. In your imagination, imagine bringing to you an image of Grandmother Earth that you just dearly love, that you appreciate so much. It could be a landscape, a seascape, a place of Grandmother Earth that you just love. It could be down by the river. Out in the woods, even your own backyard. Just bringing that image to you and noticing your feelings about it, how much you love this place because it's so pretty, so beautiful there. Good. Now, quietly to yourself or out loud, either is fine, is tell Grandmother Earth that you love her. Grandmother, I love you. Grandmother Earth, I love you. I love you, Grandmother. And sending all of your love down to her core. Grandmother, I love you. Good. Now taking a nice, easy, deep breath in. And on the exhale, imagine sending roots, your roots, down into the earth, feeling, sensing, seeing that energy flowing from your crown chakra down through your third eye, down through your throat chakra, down through your heart chakra, flowing down into Grandmother Earth, down through your solar plexus and your sacral, flowing down into your root chakra, flowing down your legs, flowing down into Grandmother Earth, rooting you, grounding you to her body like a tree, sending your roots deep into Grandmother Earth, feeling her around your roots, holding you close, loving you. Sensing, feeling, seeing yourself grounded to Grandmother Earth and surrounded by her love. Good. And now taking a nice, easy, deep breath in. And when you exhale, asking those on your spiritual team who assist you with protection to create a circle around you, standing shoulder to shoulder, about an arm's width on a good stretch, standing around you, facing outward, creating this circle of protection. And then calling to the highest vibrational protecting guide that you have. And it's okay that you don't know the name or see the face. Just know that they're there, and asking them to be your bouncer, to make sure that they check all of the energies that come through, that only the energies that's meant for your highest good are allowed through that circle of protection. And if you want, you can even take a nice, easy, deep breath in. And then when you exhale, if you had your eyes closed, you can open them. And just sense how you feel in your body, how you feel in your emotions, in your mind, your mental mind. And sensing how you feel spiritually. And just notice how you feel. Okay. And then telling everybody thank you, all of your team. Thank you so much for being here with me and helping me. I appreciate that. Thank you to the Creator for providing the opportunity to do this, to be together. Thanking Grandmother Earth. And just being thankful, right? There. Now you guys are good to go for at least 12 hours. Rochelle says, welcome. Thank you very much. You're very welcome, Rochelle. And Crystal saying, thank you, Neshi. Hearts. Energy was moving. Yay, that's good. That's good. Roberta saying that was lovely. Thank you. You're welcome, Roberta. You're welcome. Yeah. And I feel better. I feel more grounded. More centered. Yeah. There you go. Yay. Now, before I let you go, because I know it's the top of the hour, is I want to remind you a little bit about what's coming up tonight. Star Nation's radio network live stream shows is my weekly show, Communications from Home. And we're doing a meditation tonight. We're doing the Unity meditation. It's an ancient meditation, and it's all about love and Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky. And raising our frequency to the frequency of love, remembering what that feels like, and to be together to do that, right? Yeah. And so that's at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I'd love it if you guys could be here with me for that. And then tomorrow, which is Wednesday, at 3 Eastern is this live stream show again, the daily card draw information. And then in the evening, 7 p.m. is Soul Connections with Polly Jola Bay. It's all about healing, doing your emotional and trauma healing, anything that you want, your intention. It's individual. And then she does card draws. And so you get a mini reading right after the healing meditation. So, and that is at 7 p.m. Eastern. So you can join Polly Jo for that. And then Thursday, yay, is Elder Day here at Star Nations. Our elders have their live stream shows on the last Thursday of every month. And so Connie Shearwater is going to be is going to kick it off for us at 10:30 Eastern with her show, Spiritual Mysteries of Life. And then in the evening at 8 p.m. Eastern is the Mystery School with Orchard and Carl Franklin, and I get to produce both shows. I'll actually be on with the Franklins in the evening. I think Carla is talking and sharing about the true blessings of St. Nicholas, helping us get prepared for the holy season coming up, the holy days. Okay, so with that, remember anything and everything that you heard today that resonated with you, please embrace it and notice how the day unfolds for you. Okay, if it didn't, that's okay. Don't worry about it. You can just let it lie. It wasn't for you. And so enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and thank you for being here with me. I do appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.